Welcome. This is Algebra 1, Semester 2, Unit 6, Final Exam Review. You should know the concepts from the units. If you do not know these concepts, you should go back to the unit notes and actually study out the concepts. All that this film is intended to do is to teach test-taking skills, kind of get you to thinking the problem solving that I've been sharing in class regarding the tests. So this is just for the final exam. So the first problem on Unit 6 study guide is which of the graphs represents absolute value x minus 2? Well, absolute value x we know is a V-shape from our experience. We look, all the graphs are V-shape. Now, one of the things that we notice is two of them are upside down. If you recall, back to the unit on this, upside down was caused by a reflection with a negative out in front of the function. So if we look, there is no negative out front, so we can immediately eliminate C and B. Now we are at this, which we see this graph shifts down to, if we remember to our code, the shifting up and down was the K, it was out beside it, so that would be x minus 2. Now here we see in A that it has gone from the origin to being shifted to the left 2. And we remember from our formula that it goes left when it's a plus h, so this would be x plus 2 on the inside. So we look at what we're given, it matches the D option, and so we know that's our correct answer. Please make sure on this exam to show what's right and wrong with the others, okay? And I would just write reflex on these. Reflex. That tells me you're seeing that it's upside down. Okay. Reflect the graph of absolute value x over the x-axis and translate. So we're going to reflect and we're going to translate 1 unit up. Well, we know from our formula to reflect is a negative out front and 1 unit up is that k value out after the absolute value. So we would go f of x equals a negative x, and then to go up 1 unit is plus 1. Okay, so that gives us an answer like D. What's wrong with C? It looks to be correct with the plus 1, but it has no negative. So mark it out. On A, it went down 1. So it's out. And here, this, if we remember right, plus h value would be to the left 1. Yes, you do need to tell me what's wrong with the wrong answers. Okay? But no reflect on that one. Okay? Next one. Which of the following is the solution of this equation? Okay, well, we have two options. We can graph this and then graph this and see where they intersect. Or we can solve it algebraically. I think here I'll opt to solve it algebraically. We draw our line, circle our creepy dude, go up the PIMDAs. Is there any add or subtract next to x? Yes, it's right there, but it's inside absolutes, which is up here, the P. We can't get there yet. So we go outside the absolutes. Yes, there's an add or subtract with the 6, so we subtract 6 from each side to get rid of that, to get closer to our creepy dude, see what his value is. So we have 2x plus 3 equals 4. Now, we mark out add, subtract. We're up at multiply, divide. There is a 2 being multiplied. We divide by 2. And we find absolute value x plus 3 is equal to 2. Now, you can think of this in your head if you want. If we're looking at absolute value, we're saying it's a distance of 2. It could be a distance this way or a distance this way. If we go, and remember absolute value is distance from 0, if we go 2 units to the right, we're at a positive 2. 2 units to the left, we're at a negative 2. So at this point, we have to split this into showing both options. X plus 3 equals negative 2, or x plus 3 equals positive 2. Now we subtract 3 from each side. X equals negative 5. Subtract 3 from each side. X equals negative 1. So we have negative 5 and negative 1. It does ask which of the following is the solution of x. Negative 5 is the solution, but it doesn't give us the negative 1 option. So this is missing the x equals negative 1, so it's out. This is a positive 1, it's out. No solution is not the situation, so it's B. Okay, next one. Again, I would solve it algebraically. So we go up our PIMDAs. We divide by negative 3, and we notice immediately that we have an absolute value equal to a negative answer. We cannot have a negative distance. We're saying that it's a negative distance. You can't go a negative distance from 0. So therefore, we have no solutions. And these are rather obvious. I would just write a note. Can't have negative distance. By definition, absolute value is the distance from 0. Okay, this one, I love word problems like this because they look overwhelming and they are so incredibly easy. All that we're saying is that we have f of x with this formula. Here's the f of x table. Now remember, the x values we plug in, and then we get the function value for x when we plug that x value in. Here we have g of x and the g of x result right there. What the question asks is, when are g of x and f of x equal? All we need to do is go down their columns and see when they are equal. Here at 2 and 2, they're equal. So when x is equal to negative 6, they're equal. If you continue to go down, you will find another spot, right here. When f of x and g of x have the value of 2 put in, they end up equal. They end up with a result of 6. Okay? So when x is negative 6 and x is 2, they are equal. We knew immediately as soon as we found the first one that no solution was out. We can verify that positive 4 is not correct. It's 7 and 10. So that's out. And we aren't even given a 6. We can also verify that positive, positive 6 we aren't even given, so we don't need to verify that. Negative 6 and positive 2 are the two that do match up. Okay, next graph. This one we're asked to solve, and we're given graphs, so that's a beautiful thing. The first thing that I notice is all of the absolute values are graphed exactly the same. So we can assume that they've graphed that one right. What the difference is graphing this side of the equation. y equals -2. Remember, you split the equation with y equals. Now, when y equals -2, recall that we have no slope. We just have a y-intercept. This graph does not show it intersecting y. It's intersecting x at -2. So that's why it's out. This one looks to be correct. Y equals -2 there. This one, they're graphing with y equals +2. That one has got to be out. And this one, they have a graph of y equals, we do have a -2 intersect, but it is -x, -1/1, if you look at your slope. So that one's out. That leaves us with A as our option. Remember, graphing for solution is an amazingly fast way to solve these. However, oftentimes you're getting an estimated answer. That brings us to the end of Unit 6. I'll get Unit 7 next.